when a hurricane tears through your neighborhood, when floodwaters rise above your doorstep, or when a wildfire reduces everything you own to ash, the immediate question that follows the chaos is simple but urgent. What now? For millions of Americans, the answer begins with a single agency, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. This organization exists precisely for those moments when life, as you know it, gets upended by forces beyond your control. But here's the thing that most people do not realize until they are standing in the wreckage of their home. Not everyone automatically qualifies for Federal Emergency Management Agency assistance. There are specific criteria, specific steps, and specific timelines that determine whether you receive help or walk away empty-handed. Understanding those details before disaster strikes or even immediately after can make an enormous difference in your recovery. The Federal Emergency Management Agency does not just hand out money to anyone who files a claim. The process is structured, sometimes complex, and requires you to meet certain eligibility thresholds. So whether you are preparing for a potential disaster, or you are already in the middle of one, knowing exactly where you stand in relation to Federal Emergency Management Agency qualifications is one of the most important things you can do for yourself and your family. Before you can even think about applying for Federal Emergency Management Agency assistance, the first gate you have to pass through is whether your area has received a federal disaster declaration. This is not something that happens automatically every time a storm rolls through or a flood occurs. A federal disaster declaration is a formal determination made by the President of the United States, typically following a request from a state governor, that the damage caused by a specific event is severe enough to warrant federal intervention. Without this declaration, the Federal Emergency Management Agency's individual assistance programs simply do not activate for your area. State and local governments handle smaller-scale emergencies on their own. It is only when the damage exceeds what those governments can reasonably manage that the federal government steps in. So the very first thing you need to confirm after a disaster is whether your county or parish has been included in a federal disaster declaration. The Federal Emergency Management Agency maintains an updated list of declared disasters on its official website, and local news outlets typically report on these declarations quickly. Being in a declared disaster area is the foundational requirement. Without it, none of the other eligibility criteria even come into play. This is why it is so important to stay informed and monitor official announcements in the immediate aftermath of any major disaster event. Once a federal disaster declaration has been issued for your area, the next question is whether you personally qualify to apply for what the Federal Emergency Management Agency calls individual assistance. This program is designed to help individuals and households recover from the impacts of a disaster, and it covers a range of needs, from temporary housing to home repairs to other essential expenses. To be eligible, you must be a United States citizen, a non-citizen national, or a qualified alien. You must also have suffered losses in the designated disaster area, and the damaged property must be your primary residence, meaning the place where you actually live, not a vacation home or rental property you own. Renters can also qualify for certain types of assistance, particularly for replacing essential personal property or covering temporary housing costs, even though they do not own the structure itself. One important point that many people overlook is that your insurance situation matters significantly. If you have homeowners or renters insurance, you are generally required to file a claim with your insurance provider first. The Federal Emergency Management Agency is not designed to duplicate what insurance already covers. It steps in to address the gaps, the expenses that insurance does not fully cover or does not cover at all. If your insurance settlement is insufficient to meet your disaster-related needs, that is where Federal Emergency Management Agency assistance can potentially fill the void. The Federal Emergency Management Agency offers several distinct types of assistance under its individual assistance umbrella, and understanding what each one covers helps you know what to realistically expect. The first and most commonly discussed is housing assistance. This can include funds for temporary housing if your home is uninhabitable, money for essential home repairs to make your residence safe and functional, or in some cases, assistance with replacing a home that has been destroyed beyond repair. The second major category is other needs assistance. which covers a broader range of disaster-related expenses. This can include medical and dental costs resulting from the disaster, funeral expenses, personal property replacement, transportation costs, and other necessary expenses that arise directly because of the disaster event. There is also the Transitional Sheltering Assistance Program, which provides eligible survivors with temporary accommodations in hotels or motels when other housing options are not available. Beyond these direct financial programs, the Federal Emergency Management Agency also connects survivors with a network of additional resources, including low-interest disaster loans offered through the Small Business Administration, which are available not just to businesses but also to homeowners and renters. Understanding the full landscape of what is available ensures that you are not leaving assistance on the table simply because you did not know it existed. Applying for Federal Emergency Management Agency assistance is a process that requires attention to detail and timely action. You can register online at the official disasterassistance.gov website, by calling the Federal Emergency Management Agency helpline, or through the Federal Emergency Management Agency mobile application. When you apply, you will need to provide specific information, including your Social Security number, address of the damaged property, a description of the damage, information about your insurance coverage, contact information, and your bank account details if you want to receive funds through direct deposit. After you submit your application, a Federal Emergency Management Agency inspector may be assigned to assess the damage to your property. It is important to be available for this inspection and to document your damage thoroughly with photographs and written descriptions before any cleanup or repairs begin. The timeline for receiving assistance varies depending on the volume of applications and the complexity of your situation, but the Federal Emergency Management Agency aims to process claims as efficiently as possible. If your initial application is denied, do not assume that is the final word. You have the right to appeal the decision, and many applicants who are initially denied end up receiving assistance after providing additional documentation or clarification. The appeals process exists precisely because initial assessments are not always complete, and your persistence can genuinely change the outcome. Understanding why applications get denied is just as important as knowing how to apply. One of the most frequent reasons for denial is that the applicant's insurance coverage is deemed sufficient to cover their losses. As mentioned earlier, Federal Emergency Management Agency assistance is meant to supplement insurance, not replace it. Another common reason is that the damaged property was not the applicant's primary residence at the time of the disaster. Vacation homes, investment properties, and secondary residences do not qualify. Incomplete applications are also a significant source of denials. Missing documentation, incorrect information, or failure to respond to Federal Emergency Management Agency requests for additional details can all result in a claim being turned down. Some applicants are denied because they cannot verify occupancy or ownership of the damaged property, which is why having documents like lease agreements, mortgage statements, utility bills, or property tax records readily accessible is so important. Additionally, if the damage is determined to be pre-existing, rather than caused by the declared disaster, that can also result in denial. Knowing these pitfalls ahead of time allows you to build a stronger application from the start and avoid the frustration of an unnecessary denial. The most empowered position you can be in is one of preparation. Keeping important documents in a waterproof, fireproof container, or backed up digitally in a secure cloud storage location, means that when disaster strikes, you are not scrambling to reconstruct your entire paper trail. Maintaining a home inventory with photographs or video of your belongings gives you a clear record to reference when documenting losses. Reviewing your insurance policies annually ensures you understand what is covered and where the gaps are, gaps that Federal Emergency Management Agency assistance might one day need to fill. After a disaster, act quickly. Registration deadlines are real, and missing them can disqualify you from receiving assistance, regardless of how severe your losses are. Stay informed through official channels. Reach out to local disaster recovery centers if they are established in your area, and do not hesitate to ask for help navigating the process. Community organizations, legal aid groups, and nonprofit agencies often provide free guidance to disaster survivors working through the Federal Emergency Management Agency application process. Recovery is rarely a straight line, but knowing your options, understanding the qualifications, and taking deliberate action gives you the best possible chance of getting the support you need to rebuild.